Okay, I'm all set up to cut this half-inch steel plate. Now I got this fairly squared off, and I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, I'm going to clean off this here. You know, I mean, it's pretty smooth, but I'm going to take the little ridges off. Using the chop saw to cut the pipe, I just decided to go ahead and just use a simple pipe cutter. Might take a little more, but it'll give me a really precise cut. A few times around, turn the handle as I go. And this is heavy wall, so it's going to take a few turns. I have a pipe vise here that it's clamped into. And there we go. Okay, this is probably somewhat of an overkill. What I'm doing here is I got the two runners, and I'm going to recess them into the bottom of this plate, or this pipe. So I'm going to mark here where to cut it. And then I'm going to cut off this bottom piece, and that's going to fit right in there, and I'll weld it into place. Like I said, this is overkill. The reason the clamp is on there is to hold this stable, and I want the pipe to be down, you know, in the same position for both ends. I'll put a mark across here. Maybe, yeah. And that's going to go 2 inches in. Same thing on the other side, but I think I'm going to get me a different pin. That one ain't writing too well. I can see them. And okay, now I'm going to take my cutoff wheel, and I'm going to make a cut straight across here. get the other side. In case you're wondering, the sparks don't hurt a whole lot. They do hurt a little. Okay, now I'm going to cut that off right at that mark. And trim off, no, maybe not. This is in the way of my cutter. I wanted it on that side so you can see it. Okay, cut out. Smooth this up a little bit. And now, when I put this on, now this is upside down, of course. This will go on just like that. And you see this is smooth across here. Okay, I have it all laid out, ready to weld. I'll sit in a chair. I'm going to tack this in first. With a MIG welder, you don't have near the sparks that you do with a stick welder or a MIG with the flux core. I use the gas, and you get a lot less sparks. And no slag. Okay, now it's not going anywhere. I'm going to trim this off later, make it even with the pipe. I'll do that with the plasma cutter. But now I can take all my clamps off. Man, I had burn marks where it was shorting out on the table. I've got the ground clamp on the table. And I'm going to turn this over. Weld along here. Weld in there. And I may even try to get a little bit on the inside. I don't know. But now I can put my ground clamp directly on there. I wasn't sure if that would cut that much steel or not. I mean, that's, you know, 1/2 inch steel at an angle plus the weld. That's an inch. No, about 3/4 of an inch. Knock this slag off and you'll be able to tell a little better. That's the weld there. But you can see how thick that is, and it just zipped it right off. Got it ground down, ground off, and I've been smoothing it out with a flap disc wheel. I found a piece of pipe for the handle. It's thin wall, so I turned my welder down, hoping not to burn through it. I ground both sides so it fits rounded at the pipe. Okay, here goes nothing. And there it is. There's my pallet piper. I did get the handle at too much of an angle. Instead of a 90, I wanted to go like a 22, and I went more like a 45, or almost a 45. But it's not too far off from what I wanted. And I got this rolled so it'll roll right over the top of the boards. I could put it on the top of the pallet, stick that down in between the boards, and give it a pull. And there it is. Painted and hanging. I got it hanging in the vise, but that's the angle that it's at. And it's not far off from what I wanted it. Matter of fact, it's probably just about perfect. I can't wait to give it a try.